You lose someone, and for a while, the world goes quiet. You keep reaching for your phone to text them. You set 2 cups of coffee out of habit. You hear a song and your chest tightens before your mind even catches up. It feels personal. It feels like something broken in you. But the real answer is far stranger. This ache is not a malfunction. It is one of the oldest programs your species ever wrote. And your ancestors, tens of thousands of years before hospitals, before religion as we know it, before writing existed at all, were already living inside this exact same program. Grief is older than humanity itself. Around 430,000 years ago, in a cave system in northern Spain called Cima de los Huesos, researchers found the bones of at least 28 individuals stacked at the bottom of a 43-foot vertical shaft. No natural way to fall in that deep. No predator drags dozens of bodies to one place. Paleoanthropologist Juan Luis Arzuaga, who led the excavation, proposed something unsettling for the time. These were not accidents. Someone carried them there. Someone chose that place again and again across generations. That means before modern humans even existed, an earlier hominin was already doing something with death, instead of simply ignoring it. Why would that matter, evolutionarily speaking? A dead body is a burden. It draws predators. It carries disease. The colder, more efficient choice would be to walk away and never look back. And yet, your ancestors didn't. Something in them pulled the other way. Fast forward to roughly 100,000 years ago, at a site called Qafse Cave in what is now Israel, archaeologists uncovered a human skeleton buried with deer antlers placed carefully across the chest. Not tossed in, positioned. Someone knelt beside a body, thought about what to place there, and made a decision that had nothing to do with survival. That single antler tells you something enormous. Ancient humans were not just disposing of the dead. They were marking them, remembering them, trying in some fumbling early way to say this mattered. Here is where it gets stranger. Grief is not unique to humans. Primatologist Jane Goodall documented chimpanzees at Gombe Stream who stopped eating, withdrew from their group, and grew visibly listless after the death of a mother or close companion. In one now famous case, a young chimpanzee named Flint died within weeks of losing his mother Flo, showing no injury or illness. He simply stopped participating in life. Elephants do this too. They return to the bones of dead herd members. They touch the skulls with their trunks, slowly, repeatedly, in a way researchers have struggled to explain through anything except something like memory, something like mourning. So this feeling you carry, this specific heaviness, is not a modern invention. It is a thread that runs backward through millions of years of animals that formed bonds strong enough to break when those bonds were severed. Which raises the real question. Why would evolution let something hurt this much? Attachment theory, developed by psychiatrist John Bowlby in the 1950s, offers one answer. Bowlby argued that the same neural wiring that makes an infant cry out for a missing parent, flooding the body with distress until the bond is restored, never fully switches off in adulthood. It just attaches itself to different people. Your grief and a baby's cry come from the same ancient alarm system. One says, "Come back." The other says, "Why can't you?" For most of human history, being separated from your group meant death. No food-sharing network, no protection from predators, no help raising children. The people you loved were not just emotionally important, they were your entire survival infrastructure. So when the brain registers loss, it doesn't file it as sad news, it files it as an emergency. Searching, scanning rooms, expecting a knock, reaching for a phone that will never buzz again. You are not broken when you do this. You are running code that kept your ancestors alive for hundreds of thousands of years. But there is a twist buried inside all of this. Grief did not stay private for long. Anthropologist Paul Pettit, who has studied Paleolithic burial practices extensively, points out that once humans began deliberately burying their dead with objects, ochre, tools, jewelry, They were doing something almost accidental but massive. They were creating the earliest known rituals, and rituals do something grief alone cannot. They give a community a shared structure for pain, so no one has to carry it entirely alone. This is the modern mirror, and it might be the most uncomfortable part. You live in a culture that often treats grief as something to schedule around, a few days off work, a quiet return to normal. Move on. But your ancestors, the ones burying antlers on chests 100,000 years ago, seemed to understand something we've partly forgotten. Grief was not meant to be private or brief. It was meant to be witnessed. Think about the last time you lost someone. Did people check in for a week, then quietly stop? Did the silence afterward feel heavier than the loss itself? That silence is not natural. It's modern. For most of human history, mourning was loud, communal, and long. People sat with the grieving. They fed them. They stayed close, sometimes for weeks, because everyone understood instinctively what Bowlby would later put into scientific language. A person in grief is a person whose alarm system is stuck on, and the only thing that turns it off is presence. So when you feel that pull to text someone who's gone, when you catch yourself listening for a voice that won't answer, you are not malfunctioning. You are doing exactly what a hominin in a Spanish cave did 430,000 years ago when they carried a body down a shaft instead of leaving it behind. You are doing what someone in Kwafse did when they placed antlers on a chest with careful hands. You are doing what a chimpanzee named Flint did when he simply stopped eating after his mother died. You are proof that love, once formed, does not disappear quietly. It has to go somewhere. And maybe that's the real answer. The world doesn't go quiet because something in you broke. It goes quiet because for a moment, something in you is still listening for them.